Hey guys, Jeff here, Dice Hitters. So my wife and I just got back coming from Vegas. We went to Vegas this weekend. We went to Westgate. And I have not been to Westgate in, I'm thinking, 2 or 3 years. Westgate's pretty interesting. It does have definitely a lot of history. Elvis stayed there. I think one of the oldest hotels is still standing. I wouldn't say it's the oldest, but it's definitely one of the older ones. And the last time I was there, we were at the craps table, and I could have swore that they had only the fire bet. And so I had told my wife what the fire bet was, and so we were practicing here and there. And I was like, yeah, I think the tables were nice, and I think that they, I don't remember too much about it. But anyhow, we get there, and we find the tables, and I'm like, well, the table setup is a little bit different. I don't think this is the one I'm thinking of, or they changed it. And the fire bet was missing, but the cool thing is that they had the all tall small. So I was like, sweet, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to hit the all tall small. So I sat there and I got my dice ranged up and I threw it, and to my amazement, the dice went far, far away. The bounce on the table was ridiculous. So if you happen to be at one of those tables that the bounce is ridiculous, I'll show you how to win, and I'll show you how we're just going to do the all tall small. You can sit here all night long. You lose minimal money. If anything, you're going to gain money, and we're going to try to hit the all tall small. I'm not saying that we're going to hit it every single time, but if you don't hit it, you'll sit there and make up your money, and you won't, if you do it right, you won't lose anything. So let me show you what I have here on the table. I have what they call the iron cross. The table that we played at was $15 minimum. So I have 15.5, I have 18.6, 18.8, and 15 on the field. This is all going to be turned off until my point is established. I do have 5 on the tall, 5 on the small. I have $2 on the all. And then I also, for insurance purposes, will have a $3 crack check. So what this does is this makes this 15. And you're like, well, what's so cool about that being 15? Well, on your come out roll, if you're going to roll a 7, you're going to gain this, but you're going to lose all this. So if you have it set this way, at least when the 7 does hit on a come out roll, it's a wash. It's a big wash. You put everything back, they give it back to you. It's simple, it's easy, and of course this is just trying to do it minimal. So again, these will be off. I want to put little stickers on there that they're off, just so you guys know they're off. So we are going to turn this off after we've won enough money to compensate us for our 15 on the pass line and our 15 small, tall, all, and our $3 crap. We'll turn this off, and then we're going to set off to just hit the all, tall, small. My table is not bouncy. Slightly bouncy. It's not a dud, but it does have padding underneath it. But you won't bounce the dice off the table. So with the throw that I'm using, however they throw it to you or give it the dice to you, make it a 7. And you can sit there and play games with it, stay with the one on the left or stay with the one on the right. And just sit there and make it so that you will always be rolling a 7. It truly doesn't matter about the dice around it. You could sit there and say, well, do you worry about having an all 7? And of course this is an all 7. 7, 7, 7, and then 5, and that should be 2, 7. It doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter. So you're on a bouncy table. They hand you the dice. This is a come out roll. I'm shooting at the end, and the grip I'm using is what I call the claw. You can call it however you want to. All 5 fingers are going to touch it. It's the claw. It's a bouncy table, so we don't want to sit there and throw it high. We want to keep the dice on the table. You don't want to make the dealers mad at you. So just the claw grip. We're going to throw it low but firmly, and you're going to make sure you hit the tumbler action at the very back of the table. It doesn't matter if it slams into it, it really doesn't. Just as long as you hit the backboard so they don't get mad at you. So this would be our come out roll. And that's exactly what you want it to do. It just hits, you're legal, everything's fine. So in this case, our point is going to be a 6. Now the cool thing about our point being a 6 is that we don't have to use so much of our money. So this is going to be on, we're taking this down. We don't need that because we have our money on the pass line. So now instead of having $51 up here, I have subtracted it by 18. And all we want to do is have this hit 3 times. 3 times, and we are turning everything off. And the only thing we are trying for is the all-tall small. So the dice got handed back to you. 2 was the number on the left. I always do the number on the left. You can do whatever you want. And so to make it a 7, put up a 5. Again, claw grip. We're going to sit there and roll low to the ground, low to the table. Make sure we hit the back. And of course this one's a 7. But of course, like I said, my table is not a bouncy table. And that's what you do. You'll sit there and hit it 3 times, and you'll win no matter what. Hopefully you hit a 12, hopefully you hit a 2, because that just makes it quicker. You're going to sit there and turn these off, and then you're going to sit there and try for your all tall small. And being that I didn't have a C, I should have taken those down. We sat there and I was trying my hardest to try a new roll, and that was the last video, but it turned out so horrible. There's 5 videos on this stupid roll, and people are raving about it. They're like, oh yeah, 50 rolls, 60 rolls. And so I had to try it. And I tried it for 2 weeks. I tried it, and I tried, 4 or 5 hours. Nothing, absolutely nothing. But the guy who has these is the Bone Thrower. If you see him on YouTube, he won't say much, but if you go to his Patreon channel, he says a lot more. But he has what he calls a Yuri grip, and of course a Yuri grip is you're just holding on to the edges of the dice. And so you start off with a hard way set, and again, a hard way set, it is a hard way, and if you're going to roll a hard way set, it should be called a hard way set because it's going to be really hard for you not to roll a 7. But you'll sit there and you'll tip them up, and now this is a hard way 7. My fingers are holding only the edges of the dice. And what you want to do is hold it close, hold it so it's in line, and it's going to be thrown just like that. So it's in line with a counterclockwise twist, and you want it to tumble down the table. And every time I do this, it ends up being a 7. And if not the first roll, it's the second or third roll ends up being a 7. And I've shown this before. The reason why this die set is so hard is because of this. It just takes one going one way, one going the other, one going one way, one going the other, and you're going to roll a 7. I don't recommend doing a hard way set. I don't care what kind of table you're on. I don't recommend it. But that's the die set I was trying to show you guys last week, and it just failed miserably. And another thing I noticed was I could not get the dice to do anything. I even went back to one of my favorite sets, which would be the 5-1, and I was 7ing out on that. And I know I've done this table. I know I've done it at least 20 or 30 times on this table, and it wasn't working for me. So then I thought, okay, I know I can do this, and this is when you sit there and set the V set, and then you sit there and pull it down one, and then you throw it. And I was failing on that as well. And I was like, well, there's something wrong. Either somebody in the middle of the night has changed my table, the dice are different, or I'm different. I don't think I'm different, and I don't think someone's changed my table in the middle of the night. I think it's my dice. So every time I've come against this, and of course I don't mark my dice. I don't know when how many rolls do you have on dice? I have no idea. But when you get to that point that you're like, man, it's not working like it used to be, change your dice. And the sad thing is that I don't have any extra dice. There's a place that you get them from. Bone Thrower has put it up there on his videos of where to get it. And this, of course, is where the casinos get their dice, where they have it made. And if you order enough of them, they can put your name in the middle of it instead of having, serial numbers 227. As far as I know, mine's going to come back blank, or I might say 0 because they won't be used for casino use. And of course, they don't want you to change them out, while the casino's not looking for those dice. But there's 2 different dice versions to get. There's a .75 and a .77. The difference is the .77 weigh a gram more. And you can almost tell which ones you have when you come up to a table. If they're seem heavier, you got the .777. If they seem like toy dice because you're so used to using the other ones, then you got the .75. But as you sit there and roll, you take stuff out of these dice. You take the sharpened edges. They are sharp. They're razor sharp. They're so sharp that if you ever see a casino's table that doesn't have good underlayment underneath it, they'll actually cut this fill. I have a guy I work with, and he's kind of like a mathematician. I said, how many throws do you think it's going to take to start rounding this edge off to actually make a difference? And he's like, probably 200 to 500 rolls. And of course I know I've rolled these dice in the thousands. So it's time for new dice. I got 2 packages of each, the .75, the .77, and I think it cost me maybe $100. Definitely worth it. The reason being is that they are the real dice. They are the dice that you'll get. And I actually bought dice on eBay. This one here came from the Palace Station just to weigh it, just to see what the difference was. And I'm pretty sure they came from the same place. And I got other dice from other places. But again, these were taken off the table, and the edges are worn down, so they wouldn't be good practice dice. So if you ever get to the point that you're like, what, my practicing doesn't seem to be getting anywhere, change your dice. Get out a new pack, or I only use 2 at a time, so if I buy a 2-pack, then at least you can finish off both packs, and you'll have good enough practice for a lot longer than having just 1 pack, because then you have that one die that's just all alone and has no friends. But that's where we were at the casino. I did sit there and I hit the I don't remember if I hit the tall or a small, but nonetheless I hit it.
It was a small.
It was a small. I was 1 away from hitting the other one. My wife was 1 away from hitting both of them. 1 on the small, 1 on the tall, and I think she was missing the 2 and the 12. The hardest 2 numbers to do, and it was just, the 7, and just let her go. It was lots of fun. I know we made, we didn't do our card, but if we were to do a card, we have lots of comp. You have free drinks. We could have stayed there for 6 hours if we wanted to. And if you do happen to lose your money up here, let's say that you didn't have the 6, if you had the 9, and you had $51 here, plus your 15 here. Let's say this next roll you rolled a 7. You just got to consider that the next time you roll, that instead of taking these down at 3, take them down at 4. And within 4 turns, you'll make up that $51 plus the 15 for the field. And you won't lose money. You'll just keep it there. And again, the longer you let it ride, the more chances you have of losing your 51 plus your field. And I'm always let's make it a short game. Make it a short game. So make it a short game. Cover your pass, cover your C, cover your small, tall, all, and let's try to hit that. With $5 here, you're going to make $175 for this tall, $175 for the small, and with $2 here, depending on where you play, that's $300. And how much are you risking? Not much. Lots of fun, and like I said, you get free drinks, and they'll send you free coupons and free hotels and stuff like that. I have other stories I could tell you, but I want to keep this one short. Like, share, subscribe, tell me what you guys think, and have a good one. And if you ever want me to try a dice set or a dice strategy, let me know. Leave it in the comments. Thanks, guys.